Good morning, everybody. Shelley Merrell here to do my mentor session. It's been a crazy week. We've had insane winds going on. Um, I wanted to say a few things before I start on the questions, and that's especially being part of this group. As entrepreneurs, we often do what most others won't. That's one of Sean's taglines: most won't, I will. Yesterday, we had an old concrete wall blow down, and I was out there picking up cinder blocks from a wall that had fallen over into our neighbor's driveway. So it just goes to show, us entrepreneurs sometimes get into a situation where you just got to do what you got to do. And I'm all wind blown and everything else, but we have power back. So I'm kind of happy about that. Had to deal with a bunch of stuff with our computer system being down, but it's all back up now. So most will, I will. All right, so I'm going to get started on these questions. My first one is from Roland Bernath. He wants to know, how do I create new structure within the company? Background is our family business is a decor and seasonal retail and wholesale store. In the store, we employ a total of 10 employees. The company grew over time, but there was never time and energy allocated to systematically grow it. Currently, the employees are all rotating between being at the cashier, unpacking incoming inventory, sticking labels on inventory, placing inventory on shelves. As everybody is doing everything, sometimes I feel like no one is doing anything. They are not responsible. There are a lot of mistakes, etc. I need proper job descriptions and tasks. I believe I need to divide the store into segments: sales and product handling, create new job responsibilities, etc. It sounds like you actually know what you need to do. If I were in your shoes, I would start writing those job descriptions. You can often get help with that by looking at job descriptions on Indeed or ZipRecruiter and kind of develop your job descriptions from something similar that they're already advertising for, so that you're not like recreating the wheel or anything. That's really your first step at getting to a structure, creating those job descriptions and then defining everybody's role, and really enforcing sticking to those roles. And over time, that will hopefully develop into a good, structured, flowing process. So that's what I would do. Roland also said, do I go separate ways and build my own, or is it always this hard to work with family? He put more background in here. It's in our family company. My father is the owner, and I'm supposed to take over the company in a few years. I came to work for him a year ago. On the side, I have an import-export business, revenues $500,000, that I believe has potential. Recently, I'm realizing he has been very abusing emotionally all my life, but I'm just starting to realize this. I came home to work for and with him, but he looks at me as any other worker, not respecting my qualities of speaking several languages, having experience in management. He wants to make me do physical work and then tells me I'm lazy when I tell him this is not what I'm here for. Long term, I see big potential in our family business, building up logistics, e-commerce, etc. But right now, we are just fighting because he is trying to micromanage everything, me as well. Many times I'm feeling I'm wasting my time and potential here. My mental energy is draining, but I am the oldest son in the family and was pretty much programmed that it is my responsibility to take over the company. I do feel emotionally attached. but I feel like I'm designed for bigger things in life. If I was in this situation, um, there's a few things that I would consider. Number one, what is it that makes you happy? Would it make you happy to continue developing that family business and making it bigger and, you know, realizing the potential that you see there and have that big thing? Or are you happier with the import export business? Um, I'm not a therapist, but from experience, um, it's never easy to work with family ever. And um, if you're working for your dad, what I have seen happens a lot of times is ego gets in the way. And that's what it sounds like is happening here. Um, if he's treating you like all the other workers, that's actually a good thing. Um, Often what happens is other workers see the child in the situation as being privileged or getting preferential treatment, and they start getting resentful and can do some sabotage or other things like that. So he may possibly be trying to keep that from happening and not giving you preferential treatment. Um, Another thing is if he is going to be stepping back from the business in the next few years, it may be worth um, setting aside your own ego and doing that physical work to basically appease him. But again, it goes back to, what do you see in your future? Do you want to do the import export, or do you want to make the family business successful? If you can set aside your ego, it will definitely help in the daily fighting that it sounds like is going on. Um, but again, it all goes back to what you want to do and how you want to be happy, because that needs, in my opinion, needs to be the first goal. Um, Hopefully that helps. Feel free to reach out if you want to talk about this more, because working with family is never ever easy, but it can be done and it can be very, very successful. The next question is from Bob Giger. I think I said that right. How much of being successful in business is winning, quote unquote, the game against yourself? Through a mastery of online poker back in the day, I realized the key to success was to win the game against myself. Controlling my emotions, avoiding temptation, and deep thoughts on new information was the secret sauce. As I have begun the Maximize Your Mindset course, it seems like poker and business could be similar in this sense. Thoughts? His elevator pitch is, over the past 2 years, developed a skincare massage product, and I'm looking to build a brand and company around it. I think you're probably onto something here. I mean, business definitely is a game, and we often hold ourselves back a lot of times without even knowing it. So I do think you're onto something. Um, yeah. Uh, if you can start possibly recognizing your own faults and the things that might be holding you back, you will probably see a difference in your business growing. But yeah, it makes sense because they're along the same lines as far as uh, it's all a game. Anyway, hope that helps, but I do think you're onto something there. The next question is Kyle Stroud. Question: I'm looking to hire someone to monitor inventory levels and make purchasing decisions. Should I use cheap out of country employees, friends, family, job search sites, etc.? His background is I'm an Amazon seller. I purchase products at wholesale prices and ship the products to Amazon warehouses, which then fulfill orders to my customers. After speaking to Sean, I know that I need to hire people to do the work that I don't enjoy. Inventory needs to be monitored daily, and the employee will need to use tools and my past sales performance on these products to make an educated guess on how many units need to be purchased. This is a crucial part of the business. If I have no inventory in stock, I can't make money. That is true. If I were in your situation, I would definitely feel that it needed to be a physical person in your space every day handling that situation and those tasks. It does not sound like something that somebody out of the country would be able to do well. I could be wrong, absolutely. I would actually recommend asking Joel Gandara about this because he's got his whole inventory process worked out really well, has employees there in his warehouse, and um, it flows really well. So you would also mention the family and friends. We all know that that can often lead to issues. And so if I were you, I'm not sure I would go that direction either. I personally would, again, go back to Indeed or ZipRecruiter and start looking in the different people that are available. And with the current economy, you might find somebody really, really good at a really good rate. But that's just what I would do. I do think it's important to have somebody physically doing all that, or you're still going to have to be the one putting the stuff on the shelves, you know. So that would make sense in that aspect. Next question is from Kelly Killingsworth. Question: what is a professional way to answer a client who asks to receive specific itemized quote after you have given them the bid for the job? His background is I own a small construction company that specializes in fences, decks, roofs, and small interior renovations. I put a bid on a garage remodel where I contracted the electrical out. I added 20% onto the electrician's bid. Not sure if that's kosher. Plus my materials and my time. After giving my bid, the client then asked for an itemized quote. Okay, so we often get this here with us too. And what we do is we'll give the itemized quote, but still not go into details about, oh, this work was subbed out and I tacked on 20%. And actually 20% is reasonable because everywhere I've always heard 10% for overhead, 10% for profit is reasonable. And if you're subbing it out, you're still taking on the liability of who you sub it to, and you've got to pay them. So of course you've got overhead and you need to make profit, or why else would you be in business? I wouldn't put that on the itemized quote. I would just, a lot of times what we do here is we'll list out the parts separately And then even if we sub something out, we just call that part of it labor, and give them a bulk rate for labor. Or you could also possibly do use like a QuickBooks item, and um, if you have a per hour labor rate, you could just list it like that. And then also we are now using a category called mobilization, which includes everything we do in between getting the job, prepping, all that, getting everything ordered, all that time needs to be accounted for and billed out. And so we just title it mobilization. And that is now encompassing that extra time spent to get those jobs done that you really need to be paid for. Um, so even if I'm not sure what your original quote looked like, was, if it was just a bulk amount, could you go so far as to just do material, tax, labor? Is that the kind of itemization they want? Or do they want to know every little thing? Um, and even if they want to know every little thing, I still wouldn't go into detail about the work that I'm subbing out. Again, you're taking on the liability for it, so they don't need to know that. That's just my opinion. I hope that helps. But we do have that come up here too. Um, the next question, my last question, is from Allison Koyan. Koy, I'm not sure how to say your last name. Koyanaji. Sorry about that. The question is, what is the best way to pass a fee for new software onto my clients? The background is digital marketing agency. Allison, oh, here you sound it out. Koyan, Ko, I still can't do it. Koyanaji. Koyanaji? I have a new software that I want to introduce to my clients, but it does cost me a fee every month to use it. It will improve customer service and communication with clients. Since the fee is a bit high, I was going to pass this fee on to my clients, which will end up being nominal for them if I spread it out. How do I go about wording my email to them about this new fee? I want to express that this new software will bring a lot of value to them while also explaining why I'm raising their rates. I also don't want to make them angry for raising the rates on them during this sensitive time when many businesses are struggling. Thank you for your time and expertise. Um, so I'm sure there's a few different ways you could pass it along. It's possible you could do an email that goes out to your customers saying what you're doing. Um, you could word it in a way that goes something like, in an effort to give you in an or in an effort to provide you with the utmost in an effort to provide you with the best possible customer service, I am implementing a new software, blah blah blah. Kind of say that, and point out the value that it will bring to them. Um, if you're bringing value, a lot of people won't balk at um, increased prices because they know that things do cost money. And my question would be, have you figured out what percentage you would need to increase each customer to cover that software? Is it like 10% on your current rate to that customer? Um, again, if you're bringing value to them, you should be able to charge for that and not get too much pushback. And well, one thing too is you could do it with a few select customers and see what kind of feedback you get. Do you get angry customers? Are you having to answer that before you just kind of do it across the board? So that's one option that I would consider doing if I were needing to do that. But you definitely need to pass that fee along in some way, even if it's only to new customers um, or I'm wondering if you could do as a special package, kind of like silver and gold package. Um, Maybe the silver stay with what you're currently doing and the golds move into the new software model. I'm not quite sure. But I'm interested in hearing how that goes. And I don't currently have any questions in the chat, which is fine with me. So that was all my questions. I hope I helped you. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. Many of you know I've been dealing with family issues and winds and power outages and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, anyway, I hope y'all are having a great week and keep smashing those goals. I'll see you next time.